Greetings to you all, and welcome back to Let's Play Octopath Traveler. With me, Artigra Omega. I have done some preparation. Would you like to know what the preparation is? Hold your horses. Would you like to know how long the preparation took? Certainly. This save point here, number 1, is the save point you saw me play 3 episodes ago, just before we entered the gate for the first time. So after we failed, I loaded that back, obviously, and then I went and I did 3 hours of preparation, which I could have made you watch. Okay, technically speaking, I can't force you. You could always decline to watch the video. But conceptually, I could have made you watch it. But I didn't. I saved you. And what did we do in those 3 hours? I'll show you. So I didn't want to make myself too strong. I didn't want to just breeze through this. I want a nice, difficult fight. But the problem we have with the team is that the B team, the rejects, they're just too weak. So almost all of that time was spent training them up a bit. So, we'll start by showing you levels. Now, I aimed for 45 on everyone, and somehow I got 47 on everyone. I think this is because I got to 45 and then I was just a little bit of JP short of what I wanted, so everyone had to farm a little bit extra to get some more JP. Now, how did I farm? Well, I farmed using a combination of things. First of all, I went to the forest of Purgation. That is my level 58 area. I don't know if it's the best, but it's the highest level area, so I assume it's the best for grinding XP and JP while we're at it. And when I was there, I equipped a few specific support skills, so I always made sure there was someone in the party who had, and you may notice some new skills here that these characters didn't have. Someone always had extra experience in the party. Just one person. Only needs one person to have extra experience for the whole party to get bonus XP from battles. But someone always had that, and somebody always had hard worker. This boosted my rewards per battle. I then also made sure someone was equipped with the alluring ribbon to save me time, the captain's badge for more XP for the team, and the badge of friendship for more JP for the team. That was the plan, and then we grinded. And this is what we've become. So, how is everyone set up? I think equipment here is mostly the same. There's a few changes. So, there's an oddity I noticed here. You may notice that Tressa no longer has the battle-tested staff. Instead, she has the bishop staff. And you might think, what are you doing? The battle-tested staff is better. But if you look at the bottom middle of the screen, you'll see with the bishop staff, my elemental attack is 999. It's actually maxed out. With the battle-tested staff, it's still 999. So it's overkill at this point to give Tressa the battle-tested staff. More interestingly, the bishop staff increases light damage dealt. So although on paper the battle-tested staff seems better, bishop staff is strictly better in this situation for Tressa. Because it's the same stats, but I get a boost to my light damage. Very nice. Anything else changed here? I don't think so. I think everything here is the same. Anything changed here? I think this is the same. You didn't have that sword, did you? No, this all looks same. So that battle-tested axe is new. I found this for sale from a person in a town somewhere. I can't remember where. When I was shopping items for the no-hopers. It's okay. I think we probably stumbled across it before, and I probably turned it down because it's slightly worse than Death Cleaver in the physical department. But it's also got elemental attack, and I value elemental attack a little higher now because I know it's used for the damage of the runes. Might be a mistake. Maybe Death Cleaver's better. Not sure, to be honest. But this does mean that Hannet does bonus damage if she attacks with Lightning Rune or Ice Rune. So, potentially that's better. Potentially it's not. It's kind of here nor there. I think this is all the same. I think this is all the same. He's got Death Cleaver now. I don't know if he had that before. He's got the staff now because Tressa doesn't need it. So I think this is all the same. Pretty standard stuff. Now, onto the newbies. So everyone's roughly level 47 across the board. Jobs-wise, they've got exactly the jobs they had before. So it's They're mirror images of what my team were originally. Warrior, Apothecary, Cleric, Dancer, Thief, Hunter, and Black Mage, Merchant, Scholar Merchant. Equipment-wise, they all have very similar stuff. So in the weapon department, they've got whatever was the best backup weapon I had, or whatever was the best thing I could buy in a shop. I don't think I bought any weapons. I think I just used my second best, third best, whatever we're down to. I had a Death Cleaver over, so he got that. Basically, I just slapped anything on in their weapon slot. I don't really care. Their job isn't to attack very much. Defense-wise, I bought 4 Force Shields, 4 Oasis Hats, and 4 Dragon Vests. That sorts them out. These are pretty good. They're not the best of the best. To give you an example, Dragon's Vest is 180, 180. Crystal Vest, which I got from some quests or found in some chests, I don't know, is 200, 200. So, nearly as good as my best. And this was just purchasable in a shop somewhere. So, not bad. And then as far as accessories go, I just want to keep these people alive. So I found a shop that was selling protective bracelets, which I think is quite good. And I really went to town on these. I bought 5 of them. The rest of the stuff is just other items I already had. HP restoration and max HP. That's it. That's the team. As far as jobs go, I can't look at the no-hopers. They haven't even maxed out their jobs. They haven't got all their divine skills, but they've got what I care about. And that's good enough. Right, I'm not going to force you to watch through these 8 mini-bosses, because I can beat them, and I'm even stronger than I was last time. Well, I don't know what level I was last time, but I'm probably a little bit higher, because I grinded the no-hopers. But I'm going to go fight 8 bosses, and then I'll be back. Give me a moment.
Before we get started, I'd just like to take a brief moment to apologise and explain something. When I was doing the final fight, I of course recorded it with live commentary, as you would expect. However, what you might not expect is that I'm an idiot, and I forgot to turn my microphone on. So I've got the fight captured with in-game sounds, and no commentary whatsoever. It's just barren. It sounds very weird. So what I'm going to do is I am going to commentate the fight again now, watching it back myself. Which does mean I know exactly how the fight goes, and I'll be trying to explain what my thought process was at the time, and I can't remember. So, give me a little leeway with this. It's not going to be the smoothest thing you've ever seen in your life, but we'll give it a go. Okay, so here we are. All of the spirits have been defeated at this point, and I believe I was monologuing at you. Honestly, I have no idea why I did this. Oh, right. I'm showing you stuff? I think so. I think I was talking you through my selections for all of my character's skills. So what I did with most of the B team is mostly the same sub-skills given to everyone. Patience, of course, is just great. Saving Grace, I think, is particularly good because they generally have lower HP than the A-team. So hopefully we can overheal them a bit with Saving Grace, and that will buff their HP up to a level where they can survive things. Then we just got some defensive stuff to try and keep them alive. They're not here to do damage, so they have a lot more utility. So with Ophelia, I went for the show goes on that makes buffs last longer, and with Therion I went with insult to injury, which makes debuffs last longer. It's all about utility and support. There's no damage stuff selected here. I want them to live, I want them to get extra turns, and I want them to buff and debuff better. That's basically it here. What did I give Cyrus? HP regeneration to keep him alive. Yeah, okay. So no damage at all on these guys. Their job is to live, because at the end of the day, if they survive, then at least they can throw items around, and that's more useful. I'm not relying on these people to do anything, I'm relying on them to live and keep the main team up. There's no changes to the main team. Also, no idea why I just switched back to the main team, because when I go into the next screen, I'm going to be forced into the Make Your Party screen anyway. Perhaps I wanted the triumphant image of Tressa walking towards the final goal. I like the map screen, I felt like opening it. I believe I was taking stock of my items at this point, and I was surprised to see I had a nut I hadn't used. I think I was just checking sort of how many stones I've got. Elemental stone's surprisingly good. At this point I was explaining how good elemental stones are. Right, team time. So obviously I was doing a lot of talking here. I'll try and make it up. The main concern is how do you split damage and how do you split healing. So when I look at the characters and you ask me who's the damage dealers, I say it's Tressa, Hannet and Alfin. So they can't be together. It's going to have to be a 2-1 split. So my next question is, should I switch these people around a bit? Oh, okay, I'm mirroring people. Okay. I get it. I understand myself. I'm mirroring people. So Tressa and Cyrus are... You know, they both got the black magic thing going on. Prim and Ophelia are both dancers. So people are paired up as best they can be at the minute. Don't worry too much about that. But that was just for organisation. Okay, so... My idea is that I have to split the damage dealers up into a 2-1 split. So the question is, should I run away? And the answer is yes. I noticed that Primrose is injured, and I wanted to just heal her up to full before the fight. No, not Primrose, Ophelia. And now I change back pointlessly? Yes, that's too right I do. Okay, so it's all about splitting up the damage dealers. And that means one damage dealer is going by themselves. So the question is, out of Tressa, Hannet and Alfin, who does the most damage? And I think I take about 5 minutes to come to this decision in the video, so it's going to be an awkward silence for a bit. But the answer is Hannet. And the reason the answer is Hannet is because Hannet's brand skills can be multicast onto the entire party, which means even the no-hopers can deal damage if they're in Hannet's team. You can see here I'm pondering who should be solo. Originally I went with, oh, Tressa should be by herself, right? Because she's the big spellcaster, she's been the damage carry the whole game. And then I make this realization that no. Alfin is definitely not the highest damage dealer because he has other duties. He has to spend a lot of his time healing. So he's a sort of... He does good damage when he can attack, but he can't always attack. But yes, if you think about the damage potential that people bring to the party, Tressa does good damage herself, but it's only herself. Hannet brings good damage herself, and she enables the no-hopers to deal damage, where they otherwise wouldn't. So I will at some point come to the conclusion that Hannet should be by herself, and that Tressa and Alfin should be on the other side. Give me some time. I'm getting there. I'm getting there. The other question, of course, is healing. Second most important thing. Well, this team formation is awful. Artie, don't do this. This is bad. So healing is another question. So who's the best healer in the game? Alfin. Alfin's concoct is the best. There is no doubt. There is no debate. It's the best. Who's the second best healer in the game? It's Ophelia. So this means that Ophelia should be on opposite teams to Alfin. Now, Ophelia's a no-hoper, so that's kind of sad that Ophelia is the second best healer we got. But hey-ho, what can you do? It does mean that Alphen and Ophelia need to be on separate teams. Which opens up an interesting problem. Because Primrose is Ophelia's mirror. So if I put Ophelia on the right team and Alphen on the left, I have to put Prim on the left, which means that Prim goes with Alphen. So although I haven't made the realization yet about the Tressa-Haned mix-up, we're going to end up at this situation where I've got Tressa, Alphen and Prim all on the same team, and that's not good. Because then I haven't split up my main team evenly. I want Prim with Haned, and then Tressa with Alphen. That's the dream. But you see, we're starting to piece together a team here, because the Haned Prim team also needs to have Ophelia, which breaks the symmetry. But symmetry is an ideal we do not have to entertain if we don't want to. Finally, he gets it. Come on, Alphen to the right. Here you can see I'm going through the dilemma of what do I do with Ophelia? I want her on the right, but I want Prim on the right. What do I do? There we go, the realization. Symmetry broken. I did it. Good job, me. Please tell me I actually move Alphen over to the right team. I think I do. This is going to be awkward if I don't. I do, right? Please tell me I do. I'm doubting myself now. Move him. Think harder. So there's another question that needs answering, which I think I do right at the end because it's easy to switch teams around, is which team should fight the first part of the boss. So as it stands, I've never got to the second part of the boss. This is literally my second attempt at the boss, so I know nothing new. I'll tell you one thing I did do though, I watched my footage of the first fight of the boss, and I made a note of weaknesses. So any weakness that I revealed in my first attempt, I actually wrote it down. So that I am forearmed with that information going forwards. What? I didn't put Alphen on the right? Well, I'm an idiot. Okay, never mind. Everything I said was wrong. Okay, here's my defense. I did this fight over a month ago. It was ages ago. It was before Christmas. So, that's my excuse, alright? I don't remember. Okay, one thing I do remember is I wanted Alphen on the team that fights this, the Eye. Because the souls, what are they called? Raging souls? Raging spirits? The thing in the bottom left. The second one that spawns, and the third one. One of them is only weak to weapons, and one of them is... I think it has one weakness other than weapons, and the rest are all weapon-based. So I wanted Alphen over here, just so we could try and keep those things down.
Take this.
Of course I know that's weak to Holy from the first attempt.
Here we go.
So using that stone is really just to get us going.
Try this.
You can now understand what Alphen's duty is going to be. And you can see how effective the overheal is. It's going to help a lot, trust me.
A gift for you.
Come to the realization that most of my team can't deal holy damage. And when I say most of my team, I mean literally no one but Hannet can deal holy damage, so people have to start chucking around stones. That music's so good though.
Try this.
No idea why I gave the team BP. I think I concluded that Alphen couldn't really do very much. No one needed healing, and he can't hit with holy. He could throw a stone, but it's not needed because Therion can do it. Why am I pondering? Transfer rune. Use transfer rune. Obviously. What the hell am I doing? Okay, there must have been some reason for this. Oh, I think the next spirit is weak to wind. Yes. I'm an idiot, I've already transfer runed, haven't I? Damn it, it's hard, okay? It's hard to commentate on what I did in the past. Okay, the second spirit is weak to wind. I'm preparing for the future. There's going to be a lot of mistakes in this commentary, I assure you. Just settle in and get used to it. It's a long time for me to decide, damage is good. Cyrus can't really do anything useful, so he's on item duty. He can do a bit of damage.
Let's try this.
I use Jam a bit more liberally as well in this fight. The good thing about Jam is that if you use it on someone who has the overheal perk, then not only will it heal them to full, it'll heal them above full. You know, as much HP as they had will go overheal. It's nice. Nothing is wasted. Just looking for some damage from Alphen here. Using the staff attack because that way my my rune strike, my windy pursuit does more damage. Though why I didn't just punch it directly with the staff, why I'm doing this AoE, I have no idea. I think it does slightly more damage actually.
Here goes nothing.
You may think I set up wind rune a little too early, but if you look, it still has 7 turns left. This thing lasts ages, and that's because I deliberately did a, oh heavens, a pomegranate all concoction with Alphen, so that Hannet would have enough BP to do a fully charged wind rune to make sure it would last forever. It's all part of the plan. I'm flat broke, so hired help isn't going to do too much. I can set up defense with it, but it's not the end of the world. It's hard to know what to do with Cyrus. I mean, he can attack, and he'll do some damage because of the Wind Rune. When something is weak to fire, ice, or lightning, he becomes better, because then he can double hit, so he can help break vulnerability. Not really interested in doing too much to the eye at this point. I think I go for a test weakness. I don't know all of the eye's weaknesses at this point. And I'm just deciding what to test. Take aim is an actual consideration here as well. It's what I go for. Makes sense. So really, we're just in a waiting game at this point. We need those new tormented souls to spawn. And I'm left here trying to optimize every last turn I get. Look at that, I'm considering restoring BP to allies.
Here.
How's that for a tactical turn?
Letting the hunt beginning.
I don't feel good about it. Now let's see how I use that BP. That is not the way to use it. Just considered my wide range of animals there, but, you know. I don't really know what they do, so I don't know if it's wise to use them or not.
Better than a snare.
So in the end I don't use any BP at all. Instead I go for a leg hold trap, which isn't very effective, but it gives my whole team an extra turn before the eye acts, and I think the eye is going to summon the next spirits. So my thinking here is that by sacrificing one of Hanet's turns, I essentially get another turn with Hanet, and then a turn with each of my characters. Which means we get to test some weakness there, wind and bow. And do some damage. I may have got to damage this thing at some point. It's just not a priority. Obviously you focus the ads down first. And we know two of them are coming. I think I remember what I did here. I won't say it in case I don't do it. Come on. Come on, there's an obvious move here. Come on, I can do it. I'll just tell you, I want myself to use Windhild, so that I attack with all 6 weapons on the eye, and it tests a lot of weaknesses all at once. That's what I want me to do. I'm an idiot! Oh well, we found a weakness. This is not the end of the world.
Slow down.
I was impressed with how leg hold trap was doing, so I thought
What next?
we'll have more of that. It's better if Therian does it because he's less important than Hannet. Don't really want to waste Hannet's BP when I could spend Therian's instead. Cyrus has got some choices now. He can test other weaknesses, or he can go for the... he can go for a quadruple whack with his staff. He can go with a double thunder and preserve his BP. He's got options. Every action I take here is bearing in mind what's coming up. I'm not interested in breaking the eye or killing the eye yet. So I know damn well those two spirits are getting spawned.
I spare no.
I'll go with the defensive choice. So that was testing sword and getting... is it 7? 7 stacks of defense on all of my characters. Very nice. You know, maybe past art was smarter than I am. By saving Windhild for this, I managed to break the incoming spirits a lot. I mentioned earlier how they're particularly weak to weaponry. Good job past me. Something I wasn't predicting. When the eye gets shielded by the spirits, or souls, or whatever the hell they are, it cleanses the eye of Leghold Trap. If you look at the time bar at the top, you'll see that the eye is actually about to get 2 consecutive turns. It's because Leghold Trap's been removed. So he was delayed this turn, I think, and then next turn he's not delayed. Because the trap has been cleansed. Potential problem. It seems I realised this. And I go, haha, well then I'll reapply the Leghold Trap. Take that. But it's not a cleanse. And this is where the realisation sets in. It's not that it's cleansed from Leghold Trap. He's currently immune to Leghold Trap, and presumably all status effects. When the eye is protected, it is damn well protected. So the eye is getting a turn. We can't stop that. Everyone's pretty healthy though. Should be fine. If I were you, me, then what I'd do here is I'd try and break that other spirit. Just cast Trade Tempest or something. Go on. Do it. Do it, me. I was very afraid in this fight, alright? It's intimidating. I didn't want to mess up. Although I do remember seeing this. Oh, actually, Trade Tempest is a terrible move. I'm right. Attacking with the staff is way better, because then you'll get Windy Pursuit, and that will do more damage than Trade Tempest will. And it still progresses the defense bar by 1. Yes, do that. That's much better. Do it! I'm glad I took the time to think about this. I'm glad it's not me playing. I would have messed this up somewhat horrible. Okay, there's a limit to how much I want to think here. No, not that one. No. Don't do it! Why would I even consider this? I can't begin to fathom what was going through my mind at the time. Seriously, just punch it. No! Disaster, why did I do that? I have no idea. I assume I have a planned break. I'll probably... okay, my plan is probably Therian can break it with his thief skills, the double hitting ones. The HP leech or the mana leech. That's probably my plan. Yes, it was. Okay. Good work, me. Completely unnecessary. I could have just auto-attacked because Windy Pursuit would have done it anyway. But whatever. I didn't mention it explicitly, but the noxious fumes... Do we know what they do at this point? I don't know. I think we do. I think we saw them in the first attempt. Anyway, the noxious fumes make poison effects stronger. You see that whenever Therion takes a tick from poison, he doesn't just lose HP, he loses MP and BP. Sorry, SP and BP. I toyed with the idea of doing Balaga's Blade here, but it's not very good because it can't hit the eye, so it won't actually test weakness on the eye. Because the eye is just immune to everything. So instead I go, what should I do? Maybe I'll summon a big animal for fun? And then I go, no. I can't have fun. Fun is forbidden. And then I go, screw you, me, let's have some fun. You ready to see how this does? Remember, this guy was a boss. We captured a boss. Not bad, not bad. That's actually annoying. I had a lot of buffs up, including my runes. Well, I can probably kill that remaining soul quite comfortably. If HP's in the red, I think. I haven't seen. I know I just bounced over it, or cursed over it, however you want to say it. But I think its HP is in the red. I feel like it should be.
Here.
Obviously, I've got some plan here.
Letting the hunt
Don't know what my plan is. It's probably just windhilled.
scattering them all.
Now, what next?
Looking at my team now, I think I should either cure Therion or restore Hanet's SP. See what I go for? Went with the SP. Makes sense.
How about this?
Also, Alfin's about to spend some.
All right. Let's get down to work. Windhild, show no
So this won't do any damage to the eye, but it would definitely kill the soul. This thing has got about 5,000 life left, and it just got hit for about 30k, so that's dead. Therion hangs on. He's only hanging on there because of his Hang Tough passive ability. I think. I mean, I could go back and watch and see if he just by chance landed on one hit point, but I don't think he did.
Conjuring light.
My Tormented Soul's down.
interesting dilemma.
It's time to start dealing damage to the boss himself. We want to break him, and we've got a real chance to break him here. Cyrus can quintuple hit. He can punch it 4 times and then lightning rune for an extra hit. Probably working out what the other characters can do. To see if I should be blowing my BP or not. I think I should, in all honesty. I disagree.
Here goes nothing.
I feel like Cyrus's BP isn't worth very much. It was probably worth spending a lot there. Now, will Alfin save Therion? Will he go for the damage? I mean, even I don't know. I don't remember turn by turn what I did. Apparently, I don't even remember what my team setup was. So, you know, I feel I could have done that with Cyrus and we would have been in a better position, but whatever, we all make mistakes. Oh yes, this is a cute move. I go with the HP steal, thinking if I steal some HP, maybe I'll live through the poison. And then I steal 5, and I'm dead. But points for trying.
How about this?
You'll see a very, very powerful trick here. If someone dies, and you revive them with the large olive of life, it's a full revive. And the way the game does a full revive is it revives them and heals them for 10,000. But if you have the overheal perk, you keep that 10,000. Which is why Therian now has more HP than anyone's ever had on my team, I think.
Here. Oh, fighting. Windhill. Show no mercy.
As some weakness deals some damage. We found what the eye's vulnerable to. We dealt 7 damage in lightning damage.
Course of action.
That's the real kicker.
How about this?
Letting the hunt begin.
So when I look at my team now, what am I afraid of? I'm afraid of Cyrus's HP. And Hannet's HP as well, actually. Honestly, for all my looking around, I think the move here is attack, or it's use an item. Technically, True Strike is better than just attacking. That is true. Good job, me. If you've got the SP to spare. Okay, we got off lightly there. Very weak move from Galdera this time.
Bring it on.
I'm probably calculating whether or not Elfin can afford to heal. Because obviously I want to break the boss. Just quite easily done from this position. Although again, Cyrus can do it single-handedly. There we go, I spot it this time.
Out of my way. Here.
Honestly, I probably should have given her jam rather than a grape. If you can't remember, jam is it's essentially an elixir from the Final Fantasy games. It's a full heal and mana restore. I don't need the mana restore, but a full heal is better than healing for 1500 or whatever medium grape does. Worth noting, Therian doesn't have the lightning rune because he died. Came back, had to be revived.
You're mine now.
But keep that in mind, because if I'm relying on the lightning proc in order to break
How about this?
vulnerability, it's not going to work.
Come in, if thou darest.
But honestly, I feel quite comfortable here. Basically, the eye is going to get one turn every now and again, and then I can instantly break it.
Right.
It only has 8 on the vulnerability counter, so it's really not that hard to break. Most of my team can
Out
break
of my way.
2 points guaranteed, and then, on average, one of them gets an extra turn, and that's without anyone spending any BP. So it's pretty easy to break this thing. Strange choice by me there, I don't know what that was
My
about.
arrow flying true.
I probably should have tossed up pomegranates or something. Get someone's BP up.
An interesting dilemma.
Attacks coming in. We are dealing good damage. Make no mistake. Okay, here's the big twist. I knew this was coming, but you didn't.
What next?
So, Galdera's last Gambit. Well, I mean, we know there's 2 boss fights because there's 2 teams, right? But, well, at least 2 boss fights, I should say. We don't know what happens after that. But, here is the Eye's final Gambit. Revives all 3 of the souls. It's the same souls we fought before. But now there's 3 of them. And this took me by surprise. I wasn't expecting this. You notice each of them have a weakness to every element? Which would have been nice to know, because then maybe I would have done my team slightly differently, because my Tresser is in the other side, but don't worry about that. This is a very awkward situation, because they each have a weakness to 5 elements, but only one of them is exposed, which is just strange. It's like, why even make them weak to 5 elements if only one of them is going to be exposed? Why not just make them weak to 1 element? You'll see. But because they're all weak to different elements, it's very awkward to get through this. Because you can't AoE break vulnerabilities. It really is a one at a time type job, and these things are pretty dangerous. There's a reason why I try and kill them as soon as they possibly, after they spawn. I suppose at this point I'm considering which one I want to kill first. The easiest candidate is probably the one that's weak to lightning, just because I have Thunder Rune up on 3 of my party. But I don't know if that's the most frightening one. I'll be perfectly honest with you, I can't actually remember what the one bottom left does, because I just kind of broke it immediately.
Cowering before the huntress.
Now we learn the second mechanic. Every time you hit the souls, their weakness changes. So you have to be really flexible about which element you're hitting these things with. You notice I freeze in panic at this point. So I'm trying to come to terms with what's going on. But yes. That's the gimmick. Now fortunately Alfin is able to basically double hit any element he chooses so long as he doesn't deal any damage. It's an option. You'll see I went with the AoE move from Hanit there. The Divine skill. I did that just because I thought I can't multi-hit anything with Hanit, because even if I shoot multiple times with the bow, it's still only going to zap them once with the electricity. So I thought, let's just hit everyone.
How do you like this?
Because, if I recall, these things don't have much in the way of HP. They got a bit, but not crazy. So progress towards killing them all is great.
Take this.
You can see now I'm essentially just throwing the appropriate stones to try and break the one at the front.
Great inferno. Scorch the land. An interesting dilemma.
It's all about reducing the incoming threat. Because honestly, I don't know what they're capable of.
A gift for you.
Here, I don't go for damage on the broken one, I go for trying to break another one.
My turn.
But as you can see, even when they are broken, they still keep switching their defenses. Frustrating, annoying. But they haven't had a turn yet. So we've got that going for us.
Take this.
Don't get too attached to my elemental stones. This is what they're here for. The elemental damage will be augmented. So this is probably a threat, because the souls probably are capable of dealing elemental damage. But I don't take it as a threat.
A gift for you.
I take it as a chance to deal more damage myself.
Come in, if thou darest.
Don't know about you, but I'm still enjoying the music. I like this choral part. I think it's good, alright?
Try and this.
That's a terrible animation, by the way, on the large ice stone. I'm sorry, this game is beautiful, but that animation is not there. That's not what we're looking for. Right, yellow HP on the one we broke first. So now we got a rough gauge on how much HP these things have. They're killable, that's for sure. And this is where we take our largest gamble. The boss is essentially getting a triple turn, but I think no. Let's bust out the damage. I've got two of them vulnerable. They're going to take a massive damage from this. And the gamble pays off like you wouldn't believe.
Hey, come on! Hey, come on!
I mean, I get murdered. That thing was going to hit me 6 times, by the way. It wasn't done. It's just I'm dead.
Let my arrow fly and true.
But trust me, that gamble was definitely the correct move. I didn't expect it to kill 2 of them. I expected it to kill 1. And badly injure another. But it just set me up into a very strong position here.
Trying this.
Wow, I could... Apparently I forgot it was so close to killing 3. Well, that's better than I thought. Right, Alfin has tanked up. Thanks to the power of the large olive. MP's a little low across the board. Sort that out.
What is the logical course of action?
There we go, now we got it. If we want to break this guy, just go all in with Cyrus whenever you can. Cyrus hangs on, once again because of Hang Tough. Hang Tough does a lot of work. Definitely happy with my choice to use Hang Tough. That's the perk where you survive at 1, if you are not in low HP when you get hit. And if you want to know how to tell if you're in low HP, I think it's if your HP bar is flashing red. Also, if your character is crouching. That means you're in low HP.
Try this. My turn.
I'd like to draw your attention to the fact that the eye still has a white name, which means its HP is doing A-OK.
How about this?
Whilst Hannet probably has the highest sustained damage, I am going to need to set that damage back up again, because we're starting to lose some of our runes from everyone falling over. Rather rudely. So I'm going to set up my nice sustained damage once again. Alfin is the highest burst damage I've got, which is why I'm tossing pomegranate at him. You see, honestly, when you think of the team, I could have Cyrus attack, and he would do about 5 damage, and then the lightning would come in and do, what's it, about 4,000? Or he could give up his turn to throw a pomegranate at Alfin, and then Alfin walks in and deals about 45,000. So by that measure, Cyrus is doing more as some kind of pomegranate vendor than he is as a hero.
How about this?
So that's his job. He's been relegated to Alfin's nursemaid. And he does it with pride.
What next?
You'll see Hang Tough again is the only reason Cyrus is alive. Electrocute does 3,000 damage to Cyrus. He's dead from full every time that move comes out, if he didn't have Hang Tough.
Conjuring lightning.
I mean, okay, that's not true. I could overheal him, but you get what I'm saying. Alfin's heal is also only a heal for 3,000 to all, so even if Alfin did his AoE concoct heal, his most powerful one, Cyrus would still die. from an electrocute.
Here goes nothing.
If you're wondering, well, in that case, why are you even bothering? Well, I want to keep Hannet alive, is the answer. Hannet half dies from an electrocute, so I do need to keep her topped off.
You're mine now.
Therion accepts his fate that he can't actually deal any damage, decides to help everyone else out instead. Take aiming Alfin's Winhild is better than attacking. I'm not exactly being very nice on
I spell no.
Cyrus and Therion, but they're not as bad as I'm making them out. They're good at breaking the boss's vulnerability. They're just not good at dealing damage whilst the boss is exposed. They're okay because of the Thunder Rune. They're okay. They do something. They just don't do this.
Winhild, show no mercy.
I love the 9 on the end there. It's so good.
Letting the hunt beginning.
What's this turn coming in? I don't know what's happened to me. I've gone off for a break or something. Nope, I'm back. I think I'm a bit dumbfounded at this point that the boss still has a white name. Considering how many Winhilds I've hit it with. Hang on in there, Cyrus. Hey, you actually survived that by your own strength. Good for you, lad. Good for you. I'm not going to bother healing with the no-hopers. I've already
Letting my
convinced
arrow
myself that
fly
Alfin is going to handle the healing. Although, do I heal right now? I do. Okay. I was going to say, breaking the eye is more important than healing,
Try this.
to be fair. I'm glad I finally realised how good leg hold trap is. It's amazing.
What next?
You kind of sacrifice one character's turn,
Here goes nothing.
and then the whole team gets an extra turn, including the character that sacrificed their turn, so you sacrifice nothing. If you're on the edge of breaking something, it's great. The devil am I doing here? Yo, I'll take it. Get out of this menu. What are you doing? Oh, BP for all. Okay, that's fine, I guess.
Try this.
It's not very exciting. Yeah, okay, whatever. I can see what happened there. I wanted to win Hild with Alfin and I couldn't, so my brain went, not enough BP. Me make BP.
What next?
Yellow hit points. Progress is being made.
All right. Let's get down.
Alfin, demonstrate what true progress is.
Show no mercy.
Wonderful.
My turn.
I checked its name again, just on the off chance that it would now be red. I don't know why I ever thought that would be the case.
Slow down.
I think that's what we call wishful thinking.
Now, what next? How about this?
Here we go, now we got the proper cycle going. You notice I just used the pomegranate that's enough to get Alfin back up to 3. I don't know why I'm so restrained with my pomegranate usage. By the way, did I say that it was his final Gambit? Yeah, I lied to you. Take that.
Galderis.
Welcome back, 3 spirits. This time with glowing auras on them and numbers above my character's heads. Good luck figuring out what that means. Which is what I'm currently doing. I think I'm panicking and screaming a bit. But I don't know, I can't remember. It's hard for me to keep the mystery alive when I know exactly what happens in the fight, near enough. But I think I fooled you with this one, so take that. A few things to notice here. Number one, the eye is not protected.
Here goes nothing.
The eye is taking full damage, it can be broken, I can interrupt its turns, I can do everything, okay? The souls are not protecting the eye this time. Now they're doing something else, as you can tell by the fact that one of them's on fire, one of them's on water, and one of them's on
Windhild,
grass. I don't know what you call a green aura. Now you may also notice that I don't know their weaknesses. However, I have noticed at this point that their weaknesses are exactly the same as they were when they first spawned. So not when they're in their 5 elemental switching mode, but their original form. So the one bottom left is weak to holy only. The one top left that's already dead was weak to weapons only. It's like they were the first time round. I don't know if old Artega's figured that out yet. But
You're too kind.
I think I have.
An interesting dilemma.
So this one is weak to what? It's weak to wind and some other weapon. I think? Well, maybe not. Maybe not. I did Windhild, so I would have hit it with every weapon, right?
Gift for you.
Well, we'll never know. Mystery for another time.
bring it on.
So these souls are a lot weaker, I think, than the other souls we fought earlier. They die very quickly. I don't know why. I was very scared when they spawned. I thought this is going to be the end of me.
What next?
But, I killed 2 of them before they even had a turn. So then I was less scared. Apparently I don't realise this thing is weak to holy. Doesn't matter. Yeah, very low HP. I don't know, because this is... I've never got this far in the fight before, I don't know what's going on. But the numbers above my heads, I assume those count down with turns, and if it gets to 0, the character dies. There was one of my characters with a number above their head that matched each of the souls. So there was a red soul, one of my guys had a red number above his head. I assume it would kill me if it got to 0. I don't know. I blew them up too fast. Yeah, I was afraid when they spawned, but they did not live up to the hype, shall we say.
How about this?
Is that the last trick Galdera's got? Who knows? You know you can't trust a damn word I say.
I see.
We're going for damage optimization on Windhild by lowering the opponent's physical armor. Even Hannit has abandoned her job and is now going, alright Alphen, it's all on you.
Down to work. Windhild, show no mercy.
Ooh, and it pays off. Ooh. Ooh. Look at that damage. Alphen is the team.
Interesting.
Now, originally I said Alphen was going to spend half of his time healing and only half of his time damaging, and that Hannit was going to carry the team's damage. Yeah, no, Alphen's got something to say.
You're mine now.
You can't trust me, okay? You can't trust me when I say it's a run out of tricks. This thing's never run out of tricks. So it revived the souls and then immediately consumed them. Why it didn't just have an ability that gives it more vulnerability counter, I don't know. It seems kind of irrelevant. But there you go.
If thou
I think if they were still alive, maybe it eats them anyway. I don't know.
All right.
But there you go. It now has a larger vulnerability counter. I don't think it heals itself. It looks like a move that should heal itself. I didn't see any green numbers pop up, so I don't know. Also, 12 vulnerability. That's cute. Out of my way. Yeah, he gains 3 buffs as well. That's right. He gains a buff for each soul. So his physical damage is up, his magical damage is up, and his magical defense is up. Oh! Oh, and I suppose his physical defense probably went up. But I already had his physical defense down. So that's just leveled out now. I understand. Anyway, let's deal some damage.
Show no mercy.
Boss has got a triple turn coming up. That's pretty frightening. I think I was going for the kill there, because I didn't want to deal with the triple turn. and now I'm afraid. Yeah, I'm afraid. So I put my defense up. That's a consistent line of thinking. Okay. That's the end of Therian. Kind of. I mean, he's tanking well. Okay, that's the end of Therian.
Now, what next?
Aetherian is gone. He's disintegrated. He is no more. He gave his life for the cause, and we salute him. And if that combo had been fired at anyone else, that would have been grim. You'll notice once again how good Hang Tough is. Even when he was literally a statue, Hang Tough still putting in work. I am aware there is another triple turn coming up, and I am afraid that triple turn will erase another character, and I'm now on a severe clock. So I've got two choices. I either kill him before that, or I break 10 vulnerability. When I'm weighing up those options right now.
Using this.
Fortunately, Alfin's Windhild attack does both.
Show no mercy.
So it advances the vulnerability 3 stages by itself, and does a lot of damage. Enough damage?
Ha, try
Yes,
again.
it does. Try again. Team A have completed their challenge. The Eye has been slain. Team B and Team A, for some reason. I don't know why everyone's up top. Welcome to the head of Galdera.
Main event.
Now, my attacks will not reach Galdera. 99 vulnerability, immune to all. So we're in a very similar situation that we were in before, where you can't actually hit the main boss. Instead, you have to defeat the extraneous parts first. And you can see we've got 3 things here. We've got the Blade of the Fallen, big sword, the Abyssmore, big head, and we actually have LeBlanc herself there, protruding out of the boss's chest. I have no idea what any of these entities are able to do. There are 4 of them. Somehow I don't think these extremities are going to die as quickly as the souls did. And I notice in the bar at the top they all get a turn. Even the body, which is completely immune to everything, also gets a turn. So, I mean, it's a dark demon god, so we'll start with Holy, which looks on LeBlanc, of all things. I mean, I suppose she's evil, but, you know, not on the rest of the boss. So let me quickly formulate a team. So in this team, what's weaker is our healing. And I guess also our damage. This team sucks. And it's dealing with the main part of Galdera, so that's fun. I think pretty soon I'll realise that I made a mistake. There it is. So opening with Holy was probably a mistake, because I was always going to Shooting Star. Alright, good start. The team's nearly dead. The whole team is nearly dead. Alright. Great start. This is what we're dealing with in this fight, and you can predict how well this is going to go, based on seeing turn 1. So what have we got for the team? Well, we've got a lifetime supply of jam. Now remember, Ulbrich is an apothecary, but he can't concoct, so he doesn't have any AoE healing capabilities. Ophelia does, but she's part of the B team, so she's not that strong at healing. Also, I don't know how much she can heal, because I'm not used to using her. Choices then. Ulbrich can jam one person. He can throw a great basket to heal everyone. No, Great Bunch. Great Bunch. To heal everyone a bit. Or he can throw a Holy Stone, and someone else can join in with holy damage, and we can break LeBlanc to reduce incoming. What would you do in this situation? I don't know what I chose.
Use this.
So that's quite a clever idea. I didn't think of it myself watching it back. What I decided was that Ophelia, triple boosted heal more, is going to be the best AoE healing I could get. Better than throwing a Great Bunch. That was smart. Good job, me. Shooting Stars is done just because it's progresses the Black 1 stage and also progresses the sword. I could throw Holy Stones, which would actually do more damage, but then I wouldn't progress the sword's vulnerability counter at all. Team's looking good. Olbrich hanging on with Hang Tough. And now I'm panicking. I'm genuinely panicking at this point. So, the problem we have with this boss is that this boss casts magic in the same way that Tressa does. It's a triple hit of an element. And what this means is Hang Tough doesn't resist it, because Hang Tough hits you twice, say, down to 1 HP, and then it hits you again, and you die. Or, if you've got 3,000 hit points, and it hits you for 1,000 each time, it hits you, and then for the last time, you're in low HP, so Hang Tough doesn't protect you. So Hang Tough does not do what I want it to do in this fight, which is a problem.
Use this.
Now, in order to salvage the situation, I decide that Tressa should break the blade, so that we have less incoming, and then we start reviving people. And we're going to make damn good use of the overheal 10,000 HP effect that we discussed earlier. So from an absolute state of disaster, we actually pulled back the team fairly well here. Even giving Olbrich jam, just because it's the only way I can get his HP up to a reasonable level. Everything hurts so much. But we're fine. We're fine, because they only got 2 turns there, we're fine. However, as you can see by the turn order, they're about to get another 2 turns. Prim and Ophelia are looking good because of their overheal. But Tressa and Olbrich are in the danger zone right now. And I'm taking a lot of time to think about it. I must have been really concerned at this point. I was probably telling you some very interesting thoughts. But I no longer have interesting thoughts. Instead, I have random musings. It is difficult to know what to do in this position. I'll admit that to myself. I don't think I've come up with an idea, I think I'm just looking through my options. The problem is all 4 body parts are active, and I don't know any weaknesses of the head. Instead I'm banking on Tressa. Was that the right move? No idea. Ophelia's healing's not bad. It's serviceable, it does the job. Now we've got to decide what we're going for. Honestly, the things that are hitting me hardest are probably the head and the body. The body I obviously can't go for. The head, I don't know its weakness. So I'm just stuck picking between LeBlanc and the blade at the minute. That is fine. That is just mana leech, drain, whatever you want to call it. If he wants to do that to the end of days, I am okay with that. For once I don't feel in danger, so it's time to test weakness. Hopefully we can find something on the head. Basically I'm deciding between throwing a stone, level slash, and amputate. Instead I decide, nah, I'll just go for the blade. On retrospect, that's probably a terrible move. Shooting star would have been nice here, wouldn't it? Yes, it would. I guess we're not doing that. Do I really throw a stone here? Why?
You like that?
Couldn't Tressa have just done triple wind?
My turn now.
Or do I do triple holy with Tressa? Maybe I do. Okay.
Let's persevere.
I had a plan, I had a plan. Prem's getting another turn in a moment, so... if I restore her SP, she can break the blade for me. Whilst also progressing the black one step, so that's good. Yes, I'm clued in on my own tactics.
I am ready.
Eventually.
Pierce our foes.
Right, fantastic. So now we're all just weaker. But honestly, that's fine. So long as the thing's not whacking me, I don't care. I don't care how low my damage is, if I can keep things broken.
How about you?
Now, we've had our physical defense lowered. Again, I don't really care. If that's the best you can do with your turn, that's fine. That's better than hitting me for 3,000 damage to the whole team over 3 hits. Let's test some weakness. We found one. Fantastic.
Here I go.
Important choice for Tressa now. What does she do? She can go for big damage on a single target. She can go for big AoE damage. She's not going for that, I can tell you that for sure. I agree with this move. Big wind damage, I think, is the best play I've got. Let's try and break the blade. Some healthy damage.
I am ready.
And now I check to see if anything is in yellow. Aha, blade. Blade is taking a beating. Alright. So I don't know if it's true, but at this point I'm thinking... two things. I'm thinking Tressa's my main damage dealer. I just want to keep Tressa dealing damage on the blade. I'm also thinking... I don't think these are going to come back to life, like the souls did in the first fight. I think if I break the blade, it's gone. I think if I kill the black, she's gone. I think if I chop off the head, it's gone. So if I can just maintain steady survival, whilst Tressa can output damage somewhat routinely, I think we're making permanent progress towards victory. Don't know if that's true, but that's the assumption. Now, behold, jam! BP jam at that. So this is the ultimate jam. It's a full heal and a full mana restore and 5 BP. Which is very good when you want your Tressa to deal triple cast wind. Or triple boosted triple cast wind, I should say. I assume I do something to amplify Tressa's damage here. Go on, now's your chance. Yes, no. Yes, that's this. That's the one. Go on. Go on now. On Tressa. Come on, she's about to cast. A big spell. A big damage. That's it. Good job, me.
Lead us on our way. My turn. I won't hold back. Let us
Healthy damage. Okay, the blade now inflicts terror. There you go. Everyone is now afraid. And if you can't remember what terror does, I don't blame you, it's not very well explained. But terror is the status effect that prevents you from boosting. So you don't gain BP, and you can't use BP. Which is annoying, because it limits my damage a lot. A thing to notice, I've been hitting wind constantly to try and destroy the blade, which has turned out to be a good choice now that I know the blade has been augmented. It proves to me that was a good move, because the blade's going to become an even bigger threat. However, LeBlanc also has entered yellow HP. So LeBlanc, although I'm not deliberately targeting her, I am hitting her with holy spells and stuff from time to time. And also she just genuinely doesn't seem to have much HP. I still think the head's the biggest threat, but I haven't found a particularly good weakness for it. You see, I found sword, but what can I do for sword? Ulbrick can quad hit sword, that's very good. Outside of that, Tressa's hired mercenaries. They do like 12 damage. Yeah, they're good for advancing vulnerability, but you know, I want Tressa to kill things. I'm taking a massive gamble here if I'm throwing stones. Okay, I just threw one stone.
How about this?
That's a nice patience turn. Fortunate. Tressa and Prim both on the edge of the danger zone here. Just gonna get them out of it. Ophelia also in the danger zone, to be fair.
Have a taste of
You notice we're down to medium windstones. We've actually used up all of our large windstones. Not something I thought was ever going to happen. I have a feeling I've just used up my last medium windstone as well, but it's okay. The blade will be dead soon, right? It's got red HP. Don't know what I'm thinking about here. Prim has to do this. She has to break the vulnerability of the blade. I know it doesn't get a turn immediately. The blade's turn is actually the fourth one. It's after Tressa and Ophelia. But there's a chance they become incapacitated by the other 3 turns, so we can't take that chance. Please don't do that. So the triple cast has gone from doing about 3,000 damage-ish to doing about 3,700-ish. That's bad, because that is the most frightening attack anyway. I still can't boost, may I remind you? Which also means Ulbrick can't quadra slash the head if I wanted to do that. It's a pretty rough position because Tressa gets 1 turn and then the head gets a move. What would you do in this situation? The head is able to do 3,700 damage to the whole team in 3 packets. Then again, the head might just drain your mana. You don't know it's going to do anything, but it can. I imagine there's quite a long pause here before I do anything, because I am staring death down the barrel here. Now, if I'm going to heal people out of range, there are 2 options. One is to jam myself, because Tressa gets to act soonest out of the team on the next turn. The other option is actually to large Olive Ophelia, because then she'll come back with 10,000 hit points, which would make her the tankiest. I don't see any other play. Okay, I'll go for the Tressa jam. She'll survive a triple cast. Fortunate Patience turn means I can do both of my plans.
Use this.
Turns out it didn't matter because he just went with the mana drain anyway, but I'm glad I spotted the plays. Still under the effects of terror, so I still can't put out much damage. Just casting that spell for trying to break LeBlanc, really. Very strange move, that one. I've never seen that before. Doesn't frighten me. There's many worse attacks in this fight than that. If you want to drain some of my BP that I can't even use, you go right ahead. That's fine. Sword is about to get a turn. And so is Head. That's potentially a dangerous combo. Sword could do the AoE slash. And then Head could do 3000 damage to all. Stunned LeBlanc to stop her turn, but honestly, I think I missed the real threat there. Double AoE was the real threat. Only Ophelia would have survived. Let's see if I catch it now.
How about this?
Okay. Looks like I do. Perfectly fine. Reducing a character to 1 HP is okay by me. I think that's what the attack does. I don't think it was hang tough survival. I think that's just what it does. I think it's supposed to be a sort of very precision-based strike that takes you down to 1 HP.
Use this.
But that's fine. The team's looking good. This is a damage chance. It's not a great damage chance because we're still inflicted with terror, and the body's about to get a turn, so who knows what that's going to do. But to me, to my eyes, right now, it's a damage chance. So what do I do? Do I buff Tressa? I buff Tressa defensively. That's a strange play. Okay, the body has buffed itself. This is obviously just some wind.
My turn now.
I do wonder if when that blade's ever going to die. It must be so close. That's the thing. It's been in red HP for a while. We're getting dangerously exploratory. My options here.
Have this. I am ready.
As far as turns go, what's coming up? The Black's getting a turn and the body. The Black hasn't proved herself to be that big of a threat, I'll be honest. She seems to buff the other components rather than deal damage directly herself. I don't think the body is capable of killing me from this position. I hope not, or it could have just killed me anytime it felt like. Okay, that's irritating, but
What to do?
on the plus side, I can boost again. Apparently I missed the fact that I can boost again. Because I should have done it. I could have probably killed the blade. Maybe I didn't fancy the gamble. Or maybe I just didn't see it. It's far more likely.
How about this?
It's fine, I'm always happy to see that from the head. No, I don't know. This is a good move, look at this one. I don't know, but maybe the head has a SP gauge of its own. I mean, it casts its dangerous spells and then it needs to drain mana before it can do it again. In which case it would be somewhat predictable. I don't know, but maybe. Suddenly here, I have Ophelia with 3 BP and nothing to do. And I make a realization. Aelfric's Auspices is insanely good. So now here's the plan. Tressa is going to sextuple cast something. And if she casts Wind, it will blow his arm off. And if she casts Holy,
I am ready.
it will blow the black off. The potential is limitless. I made that sudden realization. Actually, I think I made the realization that I wanted Ophelia with Tressa a long time ago, because I think I actually mentioned it during the team building. Because that way we can Auspices Tressa. I deliberately farmed Auspices on Ophelia because I wanted to do that. But I think this is the first time I had enough breathing room in the fight that I can actually get away with it. And you'll notice I now also cast Divination to boost Tressa's critical strike chance. So make this one cast as powerful as it can possibly be. And I go for Holy in order to break and honestly probably kill LeBlanc. Also, it's my strongest element because I'm using the Bishop Staff. There we go, we blew his arm off. We blew his LeBlanc off. Fantastic. The turning point in the fight. Even the head is at yellow HP now, although it has taken
I'll do my best.
so much collateral damage throughout this fight. It's a miracle it's only just ticked into yellow, but hey, we're getting somewhere.
Have this.
Tressa is now the killing machine that we always dreamed she could be. I despise you.
I am ready.
Fortunately, this change in weaknesses happens after I've blown off 2 parts. I guess that happens when you kill 1 piece. But who knows. Interesting point though, the body of Galdera is now partially exposed. So we can actually test weakness on Galdera's body, although it doesn't take any damage, so I don't know how that even works. I assume it doesn't, because I don't know how you test weakness on something that's immune to damage, but
Let's do this.
So I'm now frantically testing weakness, as you can see. Tressa obviously casts a spell here and just hopes she gets it right. It could be anything. I just go with Holy because it's my most powerful element, and the new weakness altered head has not been hit with Holy yet, so why not? It's got as much chance as anything else. The head is remarkably resistant to magic damage, it seems. Which is a shame, because I ain't hitting them with anything else. I flirt with the idea of getting the king out for some reason, I don't know why. I mean, it would be quite funny to have the king in this fight, but honestly, I think his grace should be protected more than that. Okay, we found a weakness, that's good. Found another weakness, that's also good.
I am ready.
Although these weaknesses are not in my favour for the head. They're very difficult to take advantage of. Who can even do that? Ulbrich. Dagger is a more useful weakness. Oh, Ophelia can start.
Not be defeated.
Somehow I inflict poison on the Dark God. That's my dagger, by the way, if you're wondering how that happened. My dagger has a chance to inflict poison whenever it attacks. Prim's dagger. Only weapon weaknesses on the head is not great. But I conclude, screw the weapon weaknesses. Let's just blow it off with some more magic. That's more like it. Apparently I didn't blow his head off, I just took his mask off. But it doesn't matter. Now I'm very confused, because the body is still immune to all damage, and there's nothing else left alive. So I assume that something is going to happen storyline-wise, and I take the time to do some healing and some prepping. Because I don't think I can actually do anything to the boss right now. Have at you.
I am ready.
Honestly, I don't know what I'm doing here. Hey, I summoned that guy. When did I do that? Galdera is no longer immune. And you'll notice he gets 3 turns. Three actions in the next turn. So I do the most logical thing I can do. Buff up Tressa. With double cast to triple cast. I'm assuming a holy weakness on the Dark God. So I'm assuming I can exploit that 6 times here. Guessed right. So breaking the body is not going to be as difficult as you think.
Well then.
But the fact that the way I've set it up, Tressa actually hits it 6 times. I toyed with the idea of somehow breaking it myself here, so he doesn't even get a turn, but I don't know his other weaknesses. Ophelia and Prim can both hit with Holy, but that doesn't get the job done. Also, neither of them have any BP. So is it even possible? It is, if Guillotine Man attacks with something that also
Oh, sacred light.
Galdera is weak to.
I am ready.
So the plan is we shooting stars. He could have been weak to wind, I suppose, as well. That was an option. And he could have been weak to stunning strike. So it was a nice guess. But it didn't pan out. Right. So now my entire team has 1 HP. The boss is about to get 2 turns. So good thing my party is quite fast. Otherwise, I don't know how you're supposed to survive this. What's the best way to come back from this? Well, if you're going to take away my BP, I'm going to give it back. The correct answer is break the boss to take away his turns. Have at you. Right. I love the way I always check the HP every time. Is it yellow yet? No. Oh. Right, let's get the team back up.
Have this.
Now then. Use this.
Let's do this.
Honestly, there's no point anyone else dealing damage. No one is in the same league as Tressa when it comes to dealing damage. In this party.
I am ready.
I've just seen in the turn counter that the boss is about to get 3 turns in a row. So I've upped Tressa's defense to try and keep her alive. And I've healed everyone as much as I can. Galdera is in yellow. Do we test weakness? Finding a new weakness would be good. The ultimate sacrifice. Ulbrich stands in front of the Dark God and says, "Hey, hit me, not Tressa." The man's a hero. Galdera looks at him. Says, "Nah, I'm gonna hit everyone, mate." And he goes, "Actually, I'm gonna hammer you, because you taunted me." Ulbrich may be a corpse, but he is a heroic corpse. Seriously, you got no idea how much that insight may have saved me. I don't know how that exterminate skill works. If Galdera had punched two separate people with it, then I would have been in all kinds of disaster. But I don't know if that's possible. Maybe it always punches the same guy twice. But anyway, Insight forced it to be Ulbrich that gets pummeled. And that's good.
Stay strong.
For that, he gets revived. Welcome back.
This should help.
This is pretty good. Tressa's going to be able to break the boss because she got a patience turn. She was going to break the boss anyway, but now we get to break him a little sooner.
Shooting comets, lead us on our way.
So we may as well do it with passion and critical hit chance. It's a big juicy hit. Seriously, how much was that? It's like 52,000 damage. His HP's red. He's getting a triple turn, don't get ahead of yourself. It's tempting to go all in and try and kill him when you see his HP is in red, but it's not going to work. I'm not going to kill him in one attack. I have to play conservatively here. He's getting a triple turn, that's terrifying. I mean, screw it, go in! That's a lot of experience that I'm sure I'm going to be using in the rest of the game. I mean, maybe in the third part of the boss fight, right? I mean, no. Look at what we just killed. That's obviously the final part of the boss. We've killed LeBlanc as well in the process. Although at this point, I actually didn't know if that was the final boss. I was wondering if there was going to be a third part. But it works out well like this, because you get to use each team once, and that's fairer, right? You're right, Kit. You were the devil himself. For a little bit there. Are you taking it well? It's alright, mate. We've all taken on the embodiment of a dark god because we wanted to get something personal out of it. Hey, look, she wasn't lying. Maybe we shouldn't have murdered her. Nah, no, on reflection, murdering her probably was the best play. Guys, should we sit here and watch this touching reunion, or should we give them a bit of space? No, we'll watch it. It's fine. Some of it had meaning in our own lives. Cyrus is an accomplished researcher. Tressa is a damn fine merchant. Well, with that, we are outside the door. We have sealed the gate of Finis. Galdera has been defeated. The world has been saved, all thanks to Cyrus. And if you're wondering why it's Cyrus, it's because he's at the top position of Team 2. Team 1. Team 1, not Team 2. He was at the top spot in Team 1. So it's just what the game decided to use as the character. There you have it, some feel-good messaging from the game. And that's your reward. Right there. For completing the super boss, for defeating Galdera, the evil god. You get a ribbon. What does the ribbon do? Well, what's the one thing you could want? No encounters. And if you're wondering why the game would ever give you that, it's because of the side quest. If you have other side quests, story-based side quests, nothing's going to be as challenging as this, obviously. But if you have story-based plot stuff you want to go and investigate, you may now do so freely without encounters, because honestly, if you can beat Galdera, you can beat anything, and the game accepts that. Now, we have ended Octopath Traveler, but I have some closing thoughts that I did record at the time. Haha! I'm not completely useless. I shall now let previous art express those feelings to you.
And so, our journey through the world of Octopath Traveller has come to an end. And what a journey it was. My review here is going to be somewhat skewed because, let's be honest, you just watched something like 70 hours of gameplay. I wouldn't play a game for 70 hours if I wasn't enjoying it, so you already know my verdict. And chances are you're a fan of it too, or you wouldn't have made it this far in. So, hey, we're all in good company here, let's have a big love-in about how great this game was. Well, of course, we're not going to do that. We're going to judge fairly and analytically, starting with the single most important part of any game, the gameplay itself. Octopath has one of the best battle systems I've ever seen from a JRPG. It's not my all-time favourite, I'll hide who holds that honour, but the multiple layered system found within Octopath is truly fantastic. The game almost becomes puzzle-like inside combat. Take centre stage instead of quick reactions or never-ending mashing. It's a breath of fresh air in this RPG world, and honestly I'm biased as all hell because I love turn-based battle systems as it is. The vulnerability system in this game is just a layer on top that makes it beautiful. The way you can craft your team together to cover as many weaknesses as possible, blending allied buffs with enemy debuffs, sparingly making use of BP and judging whether it should be used to amplify damage or progress the vulnerability counter at every step, is honestly so good. It makes me want to try self-imposed challenges to see how many battles I can win as an underdog, making clever use of the game's mechanics. It's not just battles though, let's talk about outside of combat for a second. The standard RPG fare is good. Character progression feels about right, with the speed at which you unlock new skills for jobs, then new jobs, then super jobs. You never stop growing and your equipment never stops improving, but nothing is that ridiculous of a power spike. It's well paced in terms of your own growth, and making use of path abilities like Tressa's Barter or Alfin's Inquire to obtain some slight upgrades or improve the shop stock feels good too. It does eventually get tiresome to use every ability on every person, but at the beginning of the game it was a blast discovering all the different field abilities and then subsequently realising how we can take advantage of them, as well as the joy of forcing random old ladies or the literal king to accompany me into battle. Okay, enough praise. I've got criticisms too. What I'd call the gameplay loop in this game is way too repetitive. There are 32 main quests in this game. I'm struggling to think of a single one that doesn't fit into the same structure. Arrive at a town, some dialogue or a cutscene happens. Go to an area that is literally adjacent to the town. Walk through precisely one dungeon. Find the target of the mission at the end of said dungeon. Fight them. Return to town for more dialogue or another cutscene. Mission complete. Every single time. I understand the game is supposed to be a collection of short stories, and so each quest can't have world-reaching ramifications, but come on, I need some variety. We've started picking faults, so let's keep at it. It's storyline time. Now don't get me wrong, there are definitely good elements within the individual story chapters. Alfin is a standout example for me. You've got some serious, mature philosophy about the implications of saving a flawed life. Do we have the right to choose who lives and who dies? What if our decisions are incorrect and others suffer as a direct result of our actions? How do we reconcile with the damage we've caused through our good intentions? Interesting concepts, for sure. And some of the characters have journeys like these. But others face roadblocks that are a little less fleshed out. The most egregious example I can think of would be Tressa's Chapter 4. Whilst we go on a jolly little jaunt through Tressa's story, we end with some heartfelt cheese about our greatest treasure being the journey itself. Adorable. But who is the boss? Some random woman we've never met, never heard of, and never had any future mention of in any storyline. We don't know who she was, only that she wants our diary. That's your final boss. The gameplay loop and story structure mandates that we end on a boss fight, but if the boss fight doesn't feel suitably high stakes, then the story lands flat as a result. For me, the story is missing some interconnection between the characters and their actions. I know the game is supposed to be 8 independent stories, so what I'm asking for goes against the game's own premise, but nonetheless I find myself yearning for some overarching threat or mystery to be unravelled. And yes, I know that Galdera seeks to fulfill that role, but all of the connections there feel tenuous at best. I'm on board with LeBlanc orchestrating the theft of the Dragonstones, acquiring the tome in Cyrus's quest containing the ritual to unlock the gates, I think. But then it stretches out to, and I also controlled the assassins who killed Primrose's father for some reason. And I also manipulated Matthias into being a servant of Galdera, even though he then went and attempted his own resurrection plan, which was doomed to fail, instead of helping me carry out mine. Makes me start to wonder, was this some grand scheme planned out from day one? Or rather, was this an extra quest tacked onto the end of the story because playtesters said the final chapters felt too easy and they wanted one final unifying boss? Then you just jig the storyline a bit to make things fit retroactively, and boom, what a complex storyline we have. Yeah, no, it doesn't wash with me, I'm afraid. Side quests don't fare much better in all honesty. The majority are variations on the same 5 or so mechanics. Complete the side quest by either learning a piece of information through inquire or scrutinize, obtain an item by bartering or stealing it, guide a person to another, defeat someone in a duel, enter a nearby cave and defeat the boss monster within. It feels good to be rewarded for using field abilities or exploring the surrounding area, but it grows tiresome rather quickly. It's not all grim though. The best side quests by far, in my opinion, are those that become available after certain characters' chapter 4s. These let us meet up with old NPCs who were relevant to the story in the past, and we get to see the continuation of their personal stories beyond their interactions with us. It helps the world feel much more fleshed out and real, to not only see people we recognise, but to hear how their life continued outside of our field of view. More of this and less generic fetch quests, if you please. Okay, now for some more traditional and less detailed review topics. The audio is good. Sound effects are particularly crisp, and help a lot of attacks sound crunchier than they otherwise would. Everything in that department was great. Nothing stood out as being wrong. It was all very nice. The music is also high tier as far as it goes. Nothing here is an absolute classic like you get from some other Squaresoft RPGs from time to time, but yet again, nothing here felt weak. The battle themes were particularly nice, with Galdera's being notably good. All well-fitting, but nothing that'll stay with me for a lifetime. The voice acting, it's okay. I've heard better. It's used strangely sparingly, which I don't mind either. Honestly, I could take it or leave it. Yeah, it was fine. No complaints. Next, and oh boy, it's time for praise. The graphics. These graphics are stunning. They are gorgeous. You've probably forgotten how good they look, because if you've watched this entire series, then you've adapted to them now, and gotten used to them. But my god, this is one of the most beautiful games I've ever played, and we can debate the objectivity of good graphics, given the fact that I am playing one that's retro-inspired, but I simply adore this HD retro format. It invokes nostalgia, whilst also looking state-of-the-art at the same time. I can scarcely explain it, I just know that I love it. Look, I really enjoyed my time throughout Octopath. There's so much good within this game, but I have to admit it needs to be your thing. The strategic turn-based battle system isn't to everyone's taste, but if it is to yours, you'll love it. The HD retro graphics won't be to everyone's taste, but if they are to yours, you'll love them. By chance, or more likely by R&D, the game lined up very well with my own preferences for RPGs, and as such, it and I fit perfectly together. My main complaint is that I found the story lacking. The final point in my trifecta is an in-depth storyline that shows interconnectivity of the world whilst getting me thinking. The Galdera quest chain tried it, but it was a cheap imitation of what I was looking for. Can't score this game 10 out of 10 because of that. And also certain aspects of the game did feel repetitive by the end of my 32 chapters. But even with these problems, I truly enjoyed my time in the world of Octopath Traveler. I'll give it 8 out of 10, and feel bad that it's not a 9, but hey ho, what can you do? Good lord, I mused for a long time over this review. But that's really going to do it for Octopath Traveler. Hopefully you've enjoyed the journey, and hopefully you'll join me for wherever we go next. In which case, I shall see you then.